All right, let's dive in. Today, we're going to unravel a story that kicks off like a classic fairy tale you've heard 1,000 times. 7 magical brothers, a lonely road, you know the drill. But you've got to stick with me, because this tale takes a turn you will absolutely not see coming. It goes from a story about power and desire to this epic theological showdown that you'll be thinking about for a long, long time.
So the story kicks off with this line, and it just sets this incredibly mysterious mood right from the start. It basically says, they say death had the last laugh, knowing that not all paths lead to its bridge. And right away you're asking yourself, wait, if they're not going to death's bridge, where else could they possibly be going?
Okay, so picture this. 7 brothers, all of them pretty handy with magic, are walking down this deserted road as the sun goes down. They get to a river, and it's way too deep, way too dangerous to cross. This is their first big obstacle.
And almost immediately, the group splits. The 7th brother, the youngest one, he's a guy who's more into the simple things in life. He sees a maiden at a little house, stops for a conversation, maybe a glass of wine, and just like that, in that one small moment, his entire destiny changes. He's about to completely miss out on the one event that will define his brothers' lives forever.
Meanwhile, the other 6 have no idea their little brother stayed behind. They get to the river, and without even thinking twice, they just whip up a magical bridge out of nothing. Pretty clever, right? Well, they might have outsmarted the river, but in doing so, they've basically just ticked off a much bigger player. A hooded figure suddenly appears, blocking their path. Yep, it's Death.
Now, Death is obviously not happy about being cheated, but he's also smart. So instead of just taking them, he pretends to be impressed. He congratulates the 6 brothers and offers each of them a special reward for being so clever. And this, right here, is where things start to get really interesting.
So you've got the first brother. He's a fighter, a real brawler. He asks for a wand that can't be beaten in a duel. Easy enough. Death just breaks a branch off a nearby elder tree, and boom, the Elder Wand, the most powerful weapon in the world.
Then there's the 2nd brother. He's a bit arrogant, yeah, but he's also heartbroken over a woman he loved who died. He demands the power to bring people back from the dead. So Death just bends down, picks up a rock from the riverbank, and hands it to him. The Resurrection Stone, a wish born from pure grief.
All right, next up, you've got brothers 4 and 5. And their whole deal? They're terrified of just getting old and frail. The 4th brother is vain, so he asks to never age. He gets the crown of anti-aging. The 5th is a total hypochondriac, so he asks to never get sick. He gets the Ring of Health. They're both just trying to escape the limits of the human body.
And then we get to the 6th brother. This guy is maybe the most ambitious of the whole bunch. He wants total protection from any danger. So Death gives him a bracelet, right off his own wrist, that will instantly teleport him to safety if he's ever threatened. The only catch? He can never, ever take it off.
But the 3rd brother, see, he's a little different. He's humble. He's wise. He's not asking for world domination or the power over life and death. He just asks for a way to stay hidden from death so he can leave when he's ready. Death is not thrilled, but he tears off a piece of his own cloak and hands it over. The Cloak of Invisibility.
So, as you can probably guess, every single one of these gifts has a catch. A big one. The brothers all go their separate ways, each one thinking he's gotten the better of Death. But well, their victories are going to be incredibly short-lived.
And this is where it all comes crashing down. The irony is just brutal. The first brother, with his all-powerful wand, gets murdered in his sleep for it. The 2nd brings back his love, but she's just a sad, tormented spirit, and it drives him to take his own life. The 4th brother realizes that being young forever means watching everyone you love grow old and die. And the 5th learns that a life without any pain or struggle is actually numb and meaningless. In every single case, the gift itself becomes the very thing that destroys them.
So what about the wise one, the 3rd brother? He used his cloak to live a long, happy, and full life. He didn't seek power or fame, and when he was very old and had done everything he wanted to do, he took the cloak off and greeted death like an old friend, like an equal. He was the only one who truly understood the gift.
And that just leaves one person, right? The foolish 7th brother who stayed behind for that glass of wine. Well, by choosing that simple, human pleasure, he missed the whole deal with death. He just lived a completely normal life, full of love and laughter and sadness, and was never tempted or cursed by these grand, unnatural powers.
But hold on, because the story is not over, not even close. Remember the 6th brother, the one with the bracelet of absolute safety? See, the 6th brother, he was playing the long game.
He watched everything that happened to his siblings, and he learned from their mistakes.
So how does he pull it off? How do you become the master of death? Well, it's a pretty cold, calculated process. As each of his brothers met their tragic end, he was right there. He waited for the first brother to be murdered, then took the wand. He found the second brother and seized the stone. He claimed the crown and the ring after the others gave up on them, and finally, he hunted down the third brother's family to get his hands on that cloak.
So now he has the whole set, the whole shebang. With all those relics plus the bracelet he can't take off, he is literally invincible. He can't age, can't get sick, can't be harmed, and he has ultimate power. For thousands of years, he just lives as the ultimate party animal, doing whatever he wants, whenever he wants. Okay, so for thousands of years, he's living the high life. But this is where the story completely flips on its head. This is where the fairy tale ends, and something much bigger begins. After all that time, the world itself starts to fall apart. And our sixth brother is about to come face to face with a power that makes his look like a parlor trick. And that brings us to the biggest question of all. The brother mastered the relics of death. His power comes from death. So what happens to all his magic, all his invincibility, when death itself is about to be wiped from existence?
And the signs of the end, they're everywhere. And they are not subtle. Massive earthquakes are literally tearing the continents apart. Wars are wiping out entire civilizations. Plagues are everywhere. From a ship out in space, he watches as the sky is ripped in two like an old piece of paper. This is the apocalypse, and his magic is useless against.
And in that chaos, he remembers something, a line from the Bible he heard a long, long time ago, a prophecy. And there shall be no more death. And it hits him like a ton of bricks. This isn't a metaphor. It's literally happening. And if there's no more death, then all his toys, all his powerful relics are about to become completely worthless.
So there he is, floating in space, watching everything end. His magic is flickering out. And he's got a choice to make, maybe the only real choice he's ever had. He can either cling to his relics as they fade away and just perish along with the old world, or he can reach for something higher, something divine. And he chooses. He chooses faith. At that exact moment, as the old world breathes its last, all the relics he spent centuries collecting just dissolve into light. The bracelet, the one that could never be removed, shatters and falls off his wrist. He's not the master of death anymore. He's been redeemed, and he enters a new reality, a new creation, ready for a totally different kind of eternity.
And that's where the story leaves us, with one last really big question to chew on. It shows us two kinds of forever. One is built on having power over the world, but it turns out to be temporary. The other is found by letting go of that power at the very end of everything. So it makes you wonder, what kind of eternity is actually worth having?